Welcome, Sainers. Welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel and welcome back to Saints TV Weekly, the 21st of March, off the back of round one, which we'll talk about. As you can tell, didn't go the way we wanted. We took on the Pies on Friday night in front of 40,000 people, expected to put on a fairly decent show. And unfortunately, we went down by 17 points, 85 to 102. We conceded over 100 points to Collingwood. They were exceptional. They played well. Their pressure was good. They ran hard. They spread. They played for each other. And most importantly, they looked like a team. We didn't. We didn't look like a team. You know, we look like a bunch of individuals that had never played together, and it really was only off the back of some Jack Hayes heroics that we got back into the game in the third quarter and almost snatched it. But the final term, Collingwood put the foot down again and got away, got a couple goals away, and you know there might have been some umpiring decisions that went our way, or when it didn't go our way. But at the end of the day, we only played about 10 to 15 minutes of good football for that entire game. And as we've said in years gone by, we need to learn to play 3-4 quarter games, and that's where you get your best chance of winning. Just really disappointing, really shit start to the season, not the way I was expecting, but that was the results. Jack Hayes, by far, man of the match for me. A couple of boys, particularly the smalls, struggled in Higgins, Butler and Kent. I think only 2 goals or even 1 goal between the three of them, and a lot of points. So really disappointing on that end. And Max King was double teamed a lot of the time, but I thought he battled well. And the midfield was soundly beaten. Yeah, that's the game. I don't want to get into it. You've got my review on this channel, so if you want to hear my full thoughts, there's a good 30 minutes of me directly after the game, fresh from Marvel Stadium, giving my thoughts. So feel free to go and watch the rest of that if you want to see me in a good mood. Wasn't a good mood. That was a joke. Now, I guess the result has kind of added a bit more pressure to selection. You know, we're missing a few players in terms of Paddy Ryder, Zach Jones, Jack Billings, and Hunter Clark, to name a few, not to mention Highmore didn't play, Nasiah Wanganeen-Milera was the sub, didn't play, Windhager didn't get a chance, Owens did, but there are a few boys that could get a game against Fremantle, and I think that Nasiah Wanganeen-Milera is definitely one of them. Ball skills was a major problem on Friday night, and Nasiah's got that in spades, ball skills, and we absolutely need to put him on the park at Optus Stadium against Fremantle. Big field, let him run around, let him get a feel for AFL football, and I really do think that he'll add, he'll definitely benefit from it. And I think the club and the side will benefit from it if we have our better ball users on the park. The other one that has a question mark over his head is Paddy Ryder. I believe that I read somewhere that he may be returning via the VFL this weekend for Sandy, but depending on how we go and how desperate we are, he might well get called up to play against Fremantle, but I'm tipping he's probably going to get just a nice warm-up game for Sandy, and then he'll return the next week against Richmond on the Sunday afternoon. Zach Jones, again, we're not sure when he's returning. He's away for personal reasons, so there's no rush for Zach to do that. He can do what he needs to do and get everything right, but it just shows that we do lack some serious speed in the middle. We had Gresham on Friday night, but that was about it. It's going to be interesting to see at the selection what we do, whether we want to bring in someone like a Windhager. It's a need for us at the moment. We need to find some speed. We need to find some enthusiasm. And on Friday, you would have thought round one, Friday night, 40,000 people, that's enough to get enthusiastic, but we didn't play that way. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do in the lead up to the game and who we select for Sunday's game against Fremantle. In other news, it was a very sad day yesterday at RSCA Park. The private funeral for Shane Warne was held there. It was very close friends and family, obviously very tight-knit funeral, and you might have seen some footage of the hearse of Shane Warne, carrying Shane Warne's coffin, was doing a lap of honour. Very similar to Danny Frawley when I went there a couple of years ago. It was beautiful. This was a very nice closed-off private lap of honour. And I thought it was just the most touching way to send Warney off. And his Moorabbin boy, it was only fitting that he got his kind of final farewell and goodbye at the home of St Kilda. Send our condolences to his family and his friends. I was just really proud of the way the club kind of invited the family in and was able to let them do the funeral that way and send him off at Moorabbin. Now, there's not much news this week, but obviously it's football related. So Sunday, we take on Fremantle at Optus Stadium. They're coming off a 1-point win against Adelaide in a ridiculous game yesterday. So they've got the good start, 4 points for them yesterday. And they're always very difficult to beat at Optus, especially for us. We don't travel there too well. But this is a winnable game. As silly as it sounds, it's a winnable game if we bloody turn up. So it really does. It's really all about selection for me. I really want to see what Rats does. And when it comes, to Sunday, it's what we do with the footy. If we continue to bomb, Fremantle will tear us up. They've got some very good tools all over the ground, particularly in the back half. You don't want Luke Ryan intercepting everything. But the key for me is really running and spreading. It's a big ground up to stadium. I feel like we suit that ground better than we suit Marvel Stadium. In fact, I think we suit every ground better than we suit Marvel Stadium at the moment. That's how ridiculous that is. We just don't know how to play Marvel. It's too congested and we think it's just Bombville when we play there, and it's not going to work. We need to run and spread even if it is a smaller ground. But for Fremantle, they're going to be in front of their home fans for the first time this year off the back of a win. It's going to be a big crowd, 40,000 always. They always get big crowds there. The Purple Army, Purple Haze. But for us, I think it's a good moment to get away, even though it's round 2. It seems ridiculous to say that we needed to get away, but this takes the pressure off. The Dockers will be the favourites, but I do think that it would not be any surprise to me if we turn up and we get the chocolates and we get the 4 points and come back to Melbourne. And we do not want to start the year 0-2. So this is already, for us, a mini-final. We do not want to go 0-2 and then come back and play Richmond on Sunday, which will be a difficult game in itself already. This is a huge game for us. We need some attention at selection and to pick the players we think are going to get the win for us. And then on Sunday, we just need to play tough, uncompromising footy and smart footy, not dumb footy. We played dumb footy on Friday night. This is all about us playing smart footy and making Fremantle worry about us. If we just kick along, they're going to eat it up. Rappel and our backline shaky as it is. Collingwood saw that and they exploited that. Fremantle will just score easily if we just bomb it to their tools. Not panic stations at the moment for the club, obviously, but we need a response. And lastly, questions. Although I'm not that into it this week, obviously, because the questions aren't all positive. There's a few ones in there, so let's get stuck into it. Although this is kind of a positive one. This one's from Raphael, and he says, we can't forget we lost to North Melbourne in 2020 in round 1. Fair call. We're up by about 5 goals in that game from memory, and we lost, but we all know how the rest of 2020 turned out. So yeah, it can swing around very easily. Collingwood could well turn out to be a better team than they were last year, and who knows where they can go with the way that they were playing on Friday night. But for us, I think it is only round 1, but we can't afford to go 0-2. This one's from James Brown. What will we need to do to get the job done in WA? I kind of alluded to it before, but play as a team. Play as a unit. You lose together, you win together. We win together, but when we lose, we just lose individually. We need to unite a bit more. We look like a good team during the social media posts. They're training and having fun, but on the field, there is a little bit of a disconnect, I feel, and we need to get away. Hopefully we leave early this week and we bond as a team for a couple of days and then we take on Fremantle as a team. That's what we need to do. Just play as a team and the rest can take care of itself. This one's from Chad. With the round 1 strength of first-year players shining this weekend, is a time for Nasiah. Absolutely. If he's not in this week, big question marks there. He needs to play. He needs to get minutes. We need to trust our first-round pick that he can come in and do a job. A lot of other teams have done the same. Essendon did, Adelaide did, a number of teams have done that, and they had big games. North did, obviously Collingwood with Dacos. You got to play them, and then we can find out about them. So Nasiah definitely needs to play this week. And lastly, Nathan has asked, was Friday night a player problem or a coaching problem? It's a great question, Nathan. I think it was both. I think the players' execution wasn't spot on. Obviously, we made a lot of unforced errors, and that was the big thing was, it's okay you're making mistakes under pressure and you're getting pushed and tackled and chased. But if you're under no pressure and it's 3-on-1, St Kilda's way, and you lose that, that's when you're stuffed a little bit. But I also do think there is a bit of a coaching problem in the style we were trying to play. We played bomb football. We didn't play smart. We didn't lower our eyes, and we weren't spreading. Collingwood, when they turned the ball over, you could see players running out to the wings, giving space in the middle of the ground. What we do is we get the ball, and then it's 15 players moving from left to right together in crowds, and then we just kick it to that crowd, and we hope for a ball up, and then if we get it, everyone's around each other, so there's nowhere to kick. It's just trying to handball through traffic, and then you turn it over and it goes the other way and you're stuffed. So it's both, and hopefully during the week they address that. It's not just a player's problem. I hope Rats knows that. Don't be stubborn, Rats. You didn't have the best game plan on Friday night. We need to admit that, and hopefully against Fremantle we can tweak a few things and get the job done. All right, so I think that's it, guys. Not much in the way of news from Moorabbin this week. It was very firmly focused on round 1, and obviously now it's very firmly focused on round 2. If any news pops up during the week, I'll let you know on Saints TV. You can find me on Facebook at Saints TV, Instagram Saints TV Pod, obviously YouTube Saints TV Pod, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll be back during the week for some more videos, including the preview for the Fremantle game on Sunday at 6:20 Melbourne time, I believe. So a bit of a late one, the last game of the round, which will be a bit annoying to wait until then. But hopefully you all have a great week. You're not too disheartened by what happened on Friday night, although I know it's going to be a tough week with all the Collingwood fans up and about in your face, and I already know that too well the last couple of days, but hopefully you get through it and we can come back and talk about a win next week on Saints TV Weekly. But until then, guys, take care of yourselves, and as always, go you mighty Sainers.